Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about 4K monitors. Should you get one? And if you shouldn't, who should actually get a 4K monitor? Now I think it's a good time to talk about this because there's a couple different options that are hitting the market or that have already hit the market that are affordable and they're actually good displays. Now there were a couple different options before, but they had a ton of problems and they really weren't worth it to pick up. Now one of the models that are out right now that are affordable and they are worth it is this ASUS model right here. Now I actually have a video review and unboxing on it, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and check out my channel, pause this video, watch that first, and then come back to this. Now I do think this is the best option out of all the other 4K monitors that are out there. All the other ones do have their own quirks, like one is better in one area, one is better in the other, but this one overall is better than all of them, and it has almost everything perfect about it, and it actually won some awards from some big tech websites as well. So I do recommend it. I'll have a link in the description to this monitor that's right behind me. So I want to start out saying that I am a believer that if you have bills to pay, if your car is breaking down, if there's something else that you have to take care of, go ahead and take care of that first. I think it's a lot more important than getting yourself a new toy, new monitor, a new cell phone, whatever. Take care of that first. But on the other side, if you are a hard worker, if you can afford it, and you want something like a 4K monitor, definitely pick that up. There's a lot of people out there that kind of hesitate, and if that's what you want to do and you can afford it, you earned your money, you work hard, I think you definitely should be able to get kind of what you want. So starting off on the monitor side, I want to come from my perspective. Now I am a filmmaker, if you probably noticed from my other videos, and I actually have a couple GH4s which are 4K cameras. So I'm coming from the side of wanting to see my content that I create on an actual 4K monitor so I can actually see the image that I'm creating. Basically, if I have a 1080p monitor, that image is just kind of crushed down and it still looks really good, but I'm not seeing it to what it actually is supposed to look like. So that's kind of why I picked up the monitor that is behind me. Now if you're in that same kind of area, you're also shooting 4K or you're doing something else like that, and you do want to get a 4K monitor, it's beneficial to you, I definitely think you should get one. If you do need something like other lenses or something else that's very important like that, I think that is a little bit more important than seeing what you make on a full resolution. So maybe kind of check that out, see what else you might need first. But if you can afford it, definitely pick up a 4K monitor. Also, if you do some productivity and you do want to have a huge real estate as far as space on your screen, that's another great benefit to having a 4K monitor. Now, I have actually scaling on all my bars, so the bars are showing up the same size as they would be if I had a 2560 by 1440p monitor. Now, if I didn't do the scaling, everything would actually be a lot smaller, and then I could fit a ton of different stuff on your monitor. So as long as you have good eyesight, you can go with that option. And instead of having, let's say, 3 1080p screens, you can have one larger 4K screen, and you can fit maybe 4 browser windows, let's say on the internet, right next to each other, or a program and a couple other things. You can fit a ton of stuff on there. So if you do productivity, you want to just have one monitor instead of 3, let's say, that's another great option to have a 4K display. So the next thing I want to touch is gaming. Now there's a lot of gamers that do want to step into higher graphics quality gaming, which is a benefit to being on a computer, let's say, compared to a console. There's a lot better graphics if that's where you want to go. I think definitely if you can afford it, you have a good enough system. There's a lot of games that support 4K now, and if you want the maximum you can get, you want the game to look amazing, I think that's definitely a good choice to step up to a 4K monitor. Now first, I do want to say that if your computer can't handle it, if you don't have the best parts pretty much, you want to concentrate on that first. Now a lot of people don't know that 4K is basically 4 1080p kind of screens, or the resolution just crushed down onto one monitor. So for example, if you're running a game on 1080p, on a 1080p screen, and you're running at 100 frames per second, and you switch over to a 4K monitor, you're probably going to be around, let's see, 25 frames per second, a quarter of that. Now 25 frames per second is not going to give you a very good playing experience, even though the graphics are going to look good. So you want to make sure your graphics card or multiple graphics cards are good enough to handle whatever your game you're going to be playing. You want to make sure you have enough RAM, You want to make sure you have a good enough processor. You want to make sure you have that stuff taken care of first. If you don't, definitely invest in that first, get a better graphics card, whatever else you may need, and then pick up a 4K display. Don't get this first and then worry about those. That's kind of my suggestion. So kind of the third area I wanted to talk about is the person that does color correcting videos, other type of stuff, anything where colors are very important to you. Now this monitor is in the more affordable range. It's about $650, and there's a couple other options right around there, but there's nothing in that range that can actually do a good job and have perfectly accurate colors. Now the colors are fairly good in this, better than some cheap 1080p displays, but they're still not good enough to be considered professional. Now the professional 4K monitors are still in that $3,000 range, maybe $2,500. So if you do some work, especially professionally, I don't think it's a good time basically to switch over to 4K. Now there's a lot of good 2560 by 1440p options, and ASUS actually has one that looks almost identical to this monitor, and that actually has perfect color accuracy, and it's actually a little bit less expensive than this. So if that's what you do, I would suggest holding off for a little bit longer, getting maybe one of those, or using your 1080p monitor, and then when it's time, when some more time passes by and the prices go down on the other more expensive, the IPS panels, then you can pick up one of those. So if you do some minor color correction, stuff like that, I think this monitor will still be perfectly fine for you. Now, kind of the last part that I wanted to talk about and kind of tell you guys about is if you have a new Mac Pro 2013 version, like I have right here, and you have the best graphics cards, the D700s, you should not get a 4K monitor just yet. Now, that's exactly what I have. And it's kind of weird. I think if somebody does spend a lot of money on a new Mac Pro and they spend more money to upgrade to get the best graphics possible in that computer, they would be the prime kind of person that would want to buy one that would actually spend the money on a 4K monitor. But at this time, it actually does not work properly. So if you are running a 4K monitor at 60 Hertz, you get these little lines right here on the edge. Now this is just with the best graphics card, so if you have the low end or the middle Mac Pro graphics, you're gonna be just fine. But the best one does have that issue, and that issue is also a driver issue. It's not a hardware issue, and it's a driver issue only on the Mac, the OS X side of it. If you go into Windows from your Mac, you actually don't have the issue whatsoever. So this is something AMD has to fix. I've had this monitor connected to this computer for a couple weeks now, and I was hoping we'd have a fix by now, but there hasn't been one. There's actually been an update that I installed. I was hoping it'd be fixed, but it hasn't. So unfortunately, I'm gonna be sending this monitor back. I'm not gonna keep it. I thought hopefully it'd get fixed and I'd keep it, but it's not, and I don't know how long it's gonna take. So for now, I'm still gonna stick with my 1080p monitor, give it some time, and when I know for sure that it's fixed, it's taken care of, I'll go ahead and pick up another 4K monitor. So if you're in the same area as me, you do have this setup, I would say just give it some time, wait, and then you can pick up one of those. But for everybody else, if you can afford it, your hardware supports it, not something you want or something that's gonna be beneficial to you, I would say definitely, I think it's a good time. There's some great options, and I think this, once again, is the best option. And it's not $3,500 anymore. It's $650. I gotta make sure I get that price right at this time. It could even go lower. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and check out the description. I'll have a link to this. And if you are a color corrector, I'll have the link to the other monitor as well. It's less expensive and the colors are perfectly fantastic. They're super accurate. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any comments, questions, if I said something wrong maybe, go ahead and let me know. I'd definitely love to hear that. And if you guys are interested, check out the description for these items. And if you guys want to see more videos on 4K, especially filmmaking, different lenses, if you have a GH4, you guys can go ahead and subscribe and you guys will see that content. So thank you guys for watching and have a great day. See ya.